Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother, Bubba, did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally Bubba made them. After she finished, she said, when you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I'll look at and to see if you still have your snow white mittens. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. I can tell that there's gonna be a mole in the mitten. A mole tried from tunneling along, discovered the mitten. He burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. I can see there's gonna be a snow white hair to come in, because it shows you. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment and admired his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten. He waggled in feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both them, but he saw Rabbit's big kickers. He moved over. Now I see there's going to be a perky coming. Next, the hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself up. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being one to argue with them, covered the prickles and made room. I can see there's going to be an owl coming because it's very slow on the sidebar. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. Then he decided to move in also. The mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled, but when they saw the owl's glinty talons, They quickly let him in. The owl, and I can see there's going to be a badger coming in because he's looking out at the mitten. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb. In the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl were not pleased. There was no room left. But then when they saw the diggers, they gave him a thumb. I now can see that there's gonna be a fox coming in, asking them to come in. Because of the cold winter weather. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose into the air, and a fox trotted by, stopped to event. Just the sight of cozy mitten made him feel rosy. The fox poked his muzzle in the mole. The rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, and they gave the fox lots of room. The fox, the owl, the badger, the hare, and I can see that there's going to be a bear coming in and sees the mitten and asks, a great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up, not being one be left out. In the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in tightly as could be, but the animal would argue with the bear. The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bubbled to many types its size. But Bubba good knitting held fast. The bear, the fox, and the badger's nose. Now I can see that he's sitting on the mouse's hull, so he dug up, he sees mitten, and he decides to go either on the bear's nose or in the mitten. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the bear's nose. I can see now he found out he only has one mitten left, so he decides to go looking. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whisker, gave an enormous sneeze. Ah, catchoo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky. It scattered the animals in all different directions. On his way home, Nicky saw the white shape in the dance. It was the lost mitten, silked out against the blue sky. The mitten's in the sky, and we finally find it. And look at the fox's face. As he ran to catch his snow white mitten, he saw Bubba's face in the window. First, she looked to see if he was safe and sound. Then she saw that he still had his 2 new mittens. Now the fox is going back into the den, and the owl's going back into the tree, and the bear's going back into his hole, and there's Nicky. And here's the ending page. The end.